And now to discuss the need for rebranding and marketing strategies, I have in our Lagos studio Jide Adeyemi, the Chief Executive Officer and Chief Brand Strategist, Big and Bold Communications. Good to have you on the breakfast show this morning, Jide.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Let's talk about branding for a two-dimensional market now. Brand owners have to rethink how they market their products or their services. Companies are evaluating whether or not their visuals are captivating enough. Talking about the online market now. The new conversation is also looking at global standardization. How do you reach your customers and much more? How do we now also break even in the Nigerian market, looking at the cost of ad spend dropping, looking at the fact that we're not necessarily having so much of purchase in terms of the volume, looking at how much Nigerians have to pay for because of inflation and a whole lot more. How do we sustain the interest of the customers? How do we develop products that meet their eye? How do we brand today, post-COVID-19? Oh, within COVID-19.
Okay. Thank you very much. It's interesting to note that the brands that will survive now, they are not the strongest brand that we know. They are not the brands that are most innovative, but the one that is most adaptive to change, because there's a changing platform in the marketplace. The consumer buying behavior is changing. Preference is also changing. So we are beginning to see accidental trial. So what do I call accidental trial? I like brand A, but it's not available, and then I'm going for brand B that is available. And because of our behavior over time, I become accustomed to this brand. It could be because of cost, it could be because of convenience and what have you. For brands to sustain now, everybody needs to reposition. You also need to relook your value proposition. We need to understand the changing consumer behavior. What are the consumers looking for? What is that thing that serves to them as value compared to the product that you have to give to them? We also need to relook the entire value chain system. Not so many people want to go into the store. So do you have a system that can deliver to their doorstep? Even those who have e-commerce platform, how convenient it is for people to interact on your page. So you are trying to buy and then it's taking you 5-10 minutes to pay and then to select and what have you. So convenience will be the first thing. So you have to deliver convenience. And of course, the consumers are no longer loyal as the case is in the past. The consumers also have also shifted their thinking and what they consider value. So there's something that has to do with functionality and aesthetic. So there are some feel-good brands. So when I buy this brand, it helps my status. Now nobody's looking at that. So the question is, what solution can your brand provide? And when we begin to talk about solution, you need to look at the lifestyle of the consumer that you're talking to. So the basic thing that we need to do now is to understand the consumer. So when we understand them, we know what the consumer is looking for. We know what value means to the consumer, and then you know how to channel it to them.
Branding and rebranding is quite an expensive feat to go into any day, anytime. But now looking at the impact of COVID-19, for big corporates, they've had to cut their budget sizes for marketing strategies, branding, and a whole lot more. For small entities, MSMEs, it's been a difficult transition to have to face the reality of cutting your budget and also still making some level of profit. Now, at the end of the day, the truth remains that the budget sizes are what fuels the branding or market initiatives. Ad spends have also dropped. How do we now take on cost-cutting measures and still deliver, still captivate the customer?
Innovation and disruption is what the language is now. So the question is, do I need this space that I have to start with? How do we reduce costs in terms of production, in terms of manpower, in terms of space? People are beginning to work from home. So the remote work station is also part of the cost saving. Then we need to begin to now look at packaging for what do you call the FMCG product. So how do your package assist the consumer? So I give you an example. If you have to buy and then put in a bag and then carry, can you then have an handle to your product so that you don't need that system again? Also, there are different changes that brands need to begin to look at. if I'm producing 3 products in a part, and then because of the situation, people don't want to frequent the store, then there's opportunity for us to sell.
But how much is too much of a change for the average customer as well?
The average consumer, what they're looking at is it cost efficient for me? Is it convenient? When we talk about convenient, then what
there's certain modifications to products.
Yes.
Now, take for example the conversations from the Bakers Association: increase the price of bread by about 30% or reduce the size of bread. That is a shock for the average customer who is used to a certain size, a usual quantity or quality. Now, because of the cut in spend or expenditure, there's going to be a whole lot of shock across the value chain, don't you think?
Yeah, I agree with you, but what brand owners need to know that you must never compromise on quality. So you still have to deliver quality. So the question is, how do you then, I'll give you a simple example that I saw with a friend's organization. So in this organization, they use this water dispenser, maybe 5 in a day or in a week or whatever, and they change the position and put it upstairs. So it takes people time to go upstairs and then get water. By the time they know it, they were using 2 as against using 5. So a lot of time, we just need to be innovative. We need to begin to think through the things that we do. So if before now, your marketing spend is on billboard, for example, and there's lockdown, nobody sees your board because there's lockdown. Can we begin to look for creative way to market within,
on social media platforms,
within estates, within places where people can still interact? But more importantly, we need to play less now on brick and mortar and what's it called? We have to migrate online. So when we migrate online, then our cost efficiency become reduced. An interesting thing is that because of this situation, the consumers are almost every time on their mobile phone, they're on their gadgets and all that. So where do they consume your information? You have to go to where they consume it. But beyond the thing that they consume also, the content also matter. Is it relevant to them? Does it solve their problem? Does it attend to their immediate need? When we begin to do this, consumers will begin to see value. And regardless of price changes, which is of course we cannot do anything about it, then consumers will still go with you as long as they get value.
Now, during the pandemic, the height of the pandemic, we had website crashes. We had businesses take on a little more than they expected. Now, that's for the services sector. Now, for those who deal majorly in products, now we've also seen that with every packaging redesign, the brand owners have to ask the question, what recycling initiative does this also attend to? Let's now talk about product development and how we can also have sustainable services as well. That conversation has to be had really. That's
one of the most important conversation, because they need to begin to look at product development. So there are certain products, and then you ask yourself, what is essential product to people? So that is also a conversation to have, because what is not essential will not sell at this time, because we're looking for immediate need. We're not looking for luxury any longer. So the question is, in the process of also developing your product or introducing a new product, you need to look at where are the gaps. So where are the gaps in the market? For example, people are beginning to work from home. For me to work from home, what do I need? So maybe, for example, those in the fashion industry has to begin to look at what kind of convenient outfit can I put on all day. Of course, that is not a pajamas, but then that is free for me to work all day. So when I'm working from home, what do I need to be able to work from home? So when you look at this, you're able to undo such situation and provide the things that they need. Of course, logistics is one of the most important things that need to change. So what is our value chain? So if I have to go into the store versus you have to deliver to me at home or you have to deliver to me on the go, then when you meet those gaps, you will still be in business. And
this is a very big conversation that we cannot really delve into all aspects today, but we'll definitely leave the conversation here. And some other time we'll take it up again, and hopefully by then we'll have the pandemic over and we can now talk about how businesses will survive. Thank you very much for your time on The Breakfast Show this morning, Jide Adeyemi. It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
My pleasure.